Hey kids, welcome to the Capital Life Podcast. I am your host, Abby Pagud. This is where we talk about all the things that life brings, the good, the bad, and of course, the healthy. And today we have another amazing episode of Keeping It Real with real people. And I have my wickedly awesome, cool person, Miss Joyce. I will let you say your last name because I am terrible with pronunciations. And the last thing I want to do is botch it on the Capital Life. Welcome to the Capital Life, Joyce.
Hi, Abby. Thank you for having me here. Joyce Odidison. For those of you listening.
It's not that hard. It's like, Odidison. I should be able to do it. I did it great right now, but that's probably the only time and one time only that I'm actually going to get it accurate. But I love the fact that we're having you on the Capital Life today, Joyce. You are a coach, a conflict analyst, well-being and resilience expert, and also an author. So what better way to talk about the moments that change everything than sitting down with Miss Joyce to explore resilience, awareness, and the power of paying attention. This episode of The Capital Life is brought to you by Fred Shots Photography. If any of you have looked at my website, it is like a Fred Shots gallery. This man has this masterful skill in bringing your soul through your headshot. It not only gives you a uniqueness to your headshot, but it also shows your personality in that instantaneous moment. But he doesn't just do headshots. He gets those magically milestone moments of your life through wedding celebrations, graduations, even opening up your own business and videography. You name it, he does it. So go check out fredshots.com. You know something? If you're listening to these conversations and thinking, yeah, I want more spaces like this in my life, that's exactly why we built the Capital Community. It's where we keep the conversations going, exploring the emotional and energetic pulse of life, sharing tools for growth, bringing in new perspectives, and opening up the wisdom window during Soul Talks with Abby. If that sounds like your kind of space, you can learn more about it at capitalhealth.com. It's the place where growth keeps unfolding. At just $26 a month, come join the Capital Community, where wisdom grounds you and awareness helps you rise. Please like, share, and rate us on whatever platform you're listening. It's how we start to really spread the message of good in the world that needs it so much right now. If you find this helpful or insightful, don't forget to connect with us on Facebook and YouTube at Capital Health. That's KAPITOL Health. Also, visit us at capitalhealth.com and subscribe to our newsletter and get wicked awesome updates. Yes. I think that it's amazing because right now we are totally into, we're looking into provoking new paths. We're looking into new beginnings. We're really focusing on the details and what that story that we're telling ourselves really means for us. And I think it's really important that when we're looking at today's episode, as it's all in the details, when the details make a difference, it's really taking in that focus and paying attention to the stories that we tell ourselves, but then also how those stories paint the future picture of our pathway and where we think we're going.
Mm-hmm. I think that's so important that we do that. And it brings to the heart of my work because I teach the 9 dimensions of well-being. Right. And the people always say, oh, do we need 9? Oh, maybe I'll just do 2 or maybe just 4. And I say, well, every part of you is important. Yeah. And if you start denying any part of you, then you're creating obstacles for growth and development in that area. We need to look at all those elements of our lives because they're all vitally important for our success and our well-being and overall health.
Yeah. And I kind of want to go into a little bit of some of your story, a little bit of your story and your background, because didn't you have some defining moments that, stuck out for you to kind of keep you in that, it kind of motivated you really to continue to do the work that you're doing, if not push you into that work in the first place. Could you invite the audience into understanding some of your defining moments that basically really shifted and gave you some perspective?
Well, there are two things. First, it started because I'm a conflict analyst. I work with
Mhm.
people who are in conflict, and I was seeing them showing up in our solution sessions, and they were having troubles in other areas of their lives. And I was starting to see, well, some of these are so this conflict, some of these things are agitating and actually underline some of the conflicts that they were having with their coworkers, with their bosses, and then they would tell me they're having conflicts in their family. And I put together a model, and I started to show just something. Said, what if they could see how all the areas of their lives are interconnected,
Mm,
and why they're showing up with these conflicts, and that when they're not doing well in one area of their lives, how it impacts all the other areas, and they're overcompensating and causing more trouble and more interpersonal disharmony. So I've been working on that, and I started doing this work back in 2006 was when I brought the model, and I call it the wellness improvement system, and I started teaching it and teaching it to others, and the 9 dimensions. And then in 2015, my brother passed away. He had a serious accident, and I live in central Canada. Then I was in the classroom when I called on a break, and my husband told me, "Oh, we have bad news. Your brother had a terrible accident. And you just feel your body, all your nerves and everything just shake." And I
right.
was like, "You shouldn't have told me, but I already know now." So what do I have
Right.
to go back into the classroom? I was teaching. I had a big contract. I was working with over 100 and plus leaders. Finish up the day, got
Yeah, it's like, hey,
home.
you just got some of the worst news of your life.
Oh
And
yeah.
then, oh, yeah, by the way, you still have to show up and perform
Oh,
and
of
play
course.
the
Of
game. Like,
course.
yeah,
We are high performers, right? That's what we do. And but that wasn't the all of it, because I was doing this big contract. I have other pieces I'm doing. I'm coaching clients, and so as a conflict analyst, I became a coach and a master certified coach, because I started using coaching as a way to transform people's
right.
behavior and help them to go further inside and look. And so I'm now using this 9 dimensional framework to help them, and of course it's all about helping them and
Right.
teaching them how to be well. And here I have this major incident happen in my life. And of course, my brother passed away within 3 days. And then our family went into funeral mode. But then I'm thinking, oh, well, I have a conference coming up in Florida where I'm speaking. So maybe I will go to the funeral, but I have to go to Florida. I'll take a little bit of time off, and then I will speak at the conference. Then I'll go to the funeral. And then, of course, I have this other contract and this and all these things I'm doing because I have all these clients. And
Right.
I remember we got to the Toronto airport, and I said to my husband, you know what? I'm going to get some orange juice, just so that I can maintain my fluid
Energy. Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
plane.
And sugar levels because we don't nourish ourselves properly when we're in this state of
Exactly.
trauma. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I bought this bottle of orange juice, put it in my bag, and we're on the flight. And I remember drinking the orange juice, and then I turned over to look at him, and I noticed he was dozing off. And I said, something said, "Ah, just let him sleep." And that was the last thing I remember. When I woke up, my husband was screaming the plane down. There was a doctor taking my pulse.
Mm.
there was it was mayhem. Everybody on the flight is looking at me. Apparently, I passed out. My
Wow.
husband was trying to get my attention, trying to wake me up, and he was screaming my name, terrified. The poor man, 30,000 feet in the air, flying from between Toronto to Orlando.
Wow.
And of course, by the time the plane landed, the doctor kept taking my pulse. He's like, your pulse is fine, you're back. And we didn't know what happened. Landed
And
in Toronto.
this is on your way to the funeral. Like you're
Yeah,
flying
yeah,
to the
I was
funeral.
on my way, no, to speak at the conference and then to go to the funeral.
Oh, good
Yes,
Lord.
of course
Okay.
not.
Yeah.
Hello. Exactly. High performers. And so and we once I landed in Toronto, in Orlando, the pilot announced that all those people who likes to come and stand in the aisle and rush out, they need to keep their seat because the ambulance is gonna come. The ambulance is at the waiting, and the paramedics are gonna come and wheel me out. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, and everybody's seeing me, and I'm like, Have my head down. They did come, take my husband and I out, wheeled me out, and then call my relatives. I have a couple of aunts who are nurses and stuff in Fort Lauderdale.
Wow.
I was like, oh, this is what happening. And they're like, okay, there's a major trauma center not far from the hospital. Check yourself in. And
Oh,
I did call our insurance and they said, yes, you need to go to the hospital because we don't know what's going on. I spent 4 days in the hospital, did
oh my
very
God.
invasive tests. And the
And this is
prognosis was
2015?
2015.
2015.
The
Wow.
prognosis was stress.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh my goodness. Am I not the wellness expert?
Yeah.
Am I not the one teaching everybody to be their
Did you ever
well-being?
did you ever hear that saying that the people that are the experts of what they do are like the ones that are the worst at it? Like, so it's like if you're a coach teaching people to take care of themselves, they're also the ones that are the worst that like take care of themselves.
I
That
always take care of myself. That was not the issue. It's like
yeah.
I didn't have the numbers. I couldn't identify that. Maybe Joyce, you need to leave one thing off, and maybe you need to, I am like the go-getter, the doer. I'm doing
Yeah.
everything, but I will take care of myself. I'll take my son, I do my massage, I make sure I take one full 24-hour Sabbath off every week,
Yeah.
complete rest, I hydrate. But I was at capacity and did not realize that.
Yeah.
I did not have a way to see, okay, Joyce, I didn't have any quantifiable numbers.
Right.
So I came back and I asked, like, what the heck am I doing? What is going on? How did I miss that? And
Right.
so I took this whole wellness improvement system and I started to look deeper at the intelligence in what
Hmm.
it's doing us. And I started because I had written some books before and I had alluded to it, but I hadn't even start to use the quantifiable element and see how that connects to our resilience. Resilience is not about bouncing back when you fall down, like it says in the book.
Yeah.
It's about building the pillars so that you don't fall as hard, and if you did
Right.
fall you can get back up as quick. So I really went in now and did deeper research and recognized that the well-being intelligence was there already in the system, and I just needed this incident, I believe, happened so that I could see it.
Wow. Like it really it was it's almost like this is where the presence, if the presence of being aware, the presence of meticulously like being able to orchestrate all the different areas to caretaking, it
Mhm.
massively becomes critical, because when you disregard it or you're not even in that state of awareness, then it
Mhm.
flips it like almost instantly, which I'm sure your
Absolutely.
husband, like just the fact
Oh,
that he
oh
just
God.
lost his brother-in-law and then he's sitting here like, I'm about to lose my wife, this better not be a genetic thing, like like that type
Exactly.
of thing.
Exactly.
Did you know that we at Capital Health have been working on an app that's never been created before? And with all the excitement around it, we've decided to give you an opportunity to become a Capital Health founder. Capital Health founders get exclusive perks, including 3 to 6 months of full access of the app, a Capital Health t-shirt, and future founder-only benefits. The app itself is designed to meet you where you are, assessing your needs and creating customized workouts and personalized nutrition tailored specifically to you. In short, it's like having a trainer, nutritionist, and energy coach in your pocket without the massive expense of hiring each one individually. Founder opportunities are limited and only are available before the launch date. So head on over to capitalhealth.com to learn more on how to become a Capital Health founder and achieve your ideal health.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he knew that I was teaching. He knows what I do. He knows that I always take care of myself. But he's like, this happens for a reason. We missed something. We need to see what's going on. And that's when I went back into the intelligence and the whole WIS model, the whole wellness improvement system. I started to focus now on the well-being intelligence of that system. What is it
Right.
telling us? How does that relate to our resilience, our capacity for taking on more, recognizing when we are at that place, giving us like an actual quantifiable number. Because not if that had happened to me, I would not have gone into the intelligence of the model. I
You
would.
know what I really love what you've done with your modeling system, because you were gracious enough to share it with me and see and be able to give me a good visual of what it was. And what I really loved about it was because it like, so I get so much into the emotion and the energetic plane of healing, etc., but not everybody is as well versed. And also, like, I can sound a little cuckoo cuckoo to a lot of people because, like, it's like, the terms granola are used a lot. Like, is like the old hippie gypsy days or something, like, will get thrown around. But for someone like my husband, who is a very much big believer, but in his culture and in his Hawaiian culture, like, the women normally handle some of the spiritual aspect of it a
Mhm,
lot, while the men were like the man, like the
mhm.
labor, right?
Yeah.
And so, so I kind of see how there's that translation, especially like with more and what I refer to as like physical beings, those that
Mhm,
aren't as well versed in their energetics or following their intuition. They need more of a system or a guide to be able to put the verbiage together, but then also see how it really affects the balance, or how it's all interconnected, which
yes.
why I've always, like, even my company's logo is the trifecta, because it's mind, body, spirit, and then
Mhm,
you spiritually grow from it. So
mhm,
even my logo itself, when you turn it on its side, it kind of looks like a health tree, and
mhm.
the whole point is, like, you have to have that everything collectively working harmoniously together to get you to that next wave of evolution of self. But
Yes.
your system is really interesting, because it really goes through, because it breaks it down. And is it the 7 modalities that it breaks
Nine.
it?
Into
Nine
nine
modalities.
dimensions. Yes.
Yeah, I was like, because I remember seeing 8, but then I was like, I don't. I actually kind of should
The
probably go back
core of
and
it,
be
the
right.
interpersonal, is where everything is connected, because whatever we do has an interpersonal element to it.
Yeah. Well, and so I really love how you did that. And I do believe that you had to go through this experience. Now, what was it that happened to your brother? Like, can you share that? What
Oh
happened?
yeah. So my brother had a little business. So I live in Canada now, and I've been here since I was a teenager. But my older brother still lived on the Caribbean island of Dominica, Eastern Caribbean
Okay. Cool.
island, and he had one of those transport bus where you take people to the town and bring them back. And on his way, he had a bus full of passengers going downtown and had a head-on collision.
Oh
And
no.
yeah, and it was, I mean, they had to cut the bus to get him out. And yeah, he died 3 days later. So
Oh my
it
gosh.
was shocking, because he wasn't sick. It's not, we did not expect him,
It
shocking
was,
accident.
yeah,
But yeah, exactly. So
the unexpected that shows up and plays out. And
exactly.
wow.
So
And was
that's
anybody else harmed during the
actually, no, he was the driver. The person next to him did not get as damaged as he. It seems like he
Okay.
got the brunt of it. The other
Okay.
person got a bit of
Some injuries, some
injury.
basic.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
nobody else died. He was the only one who
Wow.
passed away.
Oh my God,
Um,
that's awful.
I know it was, and then you realize how your body goes through that grief, and even if you're not crying because you're doing all these things now, I'm into, like, okay, mode, putting things on pause. What do I need to pause? What do I need to
Right.
stop? Because we need to fly out, and we need to go.
You get straight into the hustle. It's straight into
Exactly,
the hustle, and you go from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. There's
exactly.
not even an awareness to grieve and process, which I very much, it's interesting, because there's two things that I find really interesting. And one is, I have a lot of Jewish clients, and what I really love in their culture, like in their belief system, is how they really honor grief. like they have like this, they have Shiva, and you have to, I believe it's called Shiva, and you basically, like, the family is not allowed to do anything, and then the whole community comes to caretake for the family. And then they even kind of have like a forced grief process for the immediate family, where they have to go to Minion for like an entire year, and so that they actually process their emotions, because there's so much that happens with
Mhm,
it. And so I found that
mhm,
really beautiful. What I have always done is at funerals, anytime I've had, everybody goes up and they get in line, and then, like, but the thing that bothers me about that is that then the family is sitting there put in a position of like hosting, and like having to present and be there to be
mhm.
courteous towards those that have come to be
Yeah.
to
So
share their grief. And so what I've always done is, when every time I've gone through the line, when I got to the family, I would literally just hold their hands, and I would just say, "This is your moment to breathe and take a
mhm,
second for yourself. You are
mhm,
completely not allowed, you are completely excused from talking to me and having basic semantic conversations. I just want you to take a deep breath right now and feel into your body." And then I'll be like,
mhm,
"Have you eaten? Do you need anything? Like, what is it that you need?" And I just
mhm,
take that time so that they can have, and I said, "I will stand here for as long as you need me to, and you don't have to say a freaking thing. And then
mhm,
that way you can just stay in this space with me while everybody else can just wait." And then,
mhm.
and sometimes they need, sometimes three to
They
five
need that.
minutes.
Yes,
Yeah.
they need
And
that.
so, and I've always done that. That's always what I've done for them. Like, I'll do it at weddings. I do it at funerals, all the performance areas, like that, to
Mhm,
which, I mean, and it shouldn't always be that way. Like, it's, but at the same time, it's just that weird, I don't know. It's just that weird whole thing. But it is. You don't, they never, like, the family never is just constantly in this hustle, 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 hustle.
mhm.
And then the grief really starts as soon as everyone leaves, right? Like,
Absolutely.
cause,
You know what? We don't even realize how our body grieves because when I went into the hospital, I spent 4 days in the hospital, the trauma center, and they did such invasive tests that my
mm,
relatives said, "Don't even bother coming to the Caribbean. You're not coming. We're burying one person. You stay where you are
wow.
and make it back to Canada." So I ended up never getting to my brother's funeral because I was more
Wow.
sick after the test because they went into your heart, into the artery,
Yeah.
and my family said, "Forget it. Don't even think of taking another plane." And I
Right.
tried. Trust me. Oh, wait. I actually spoke at the conference. After the day I came from the hospital, I went to speak at
Yeah.
the conference, leaning on a chair and letting everyone know I just came back from the hospital, but it happened that I came to, and this I was able to share, and I was sharing on the same model. And
Mm,
I was sharing on the model. I was like, there is something deeper here that I need to figure out.
yeah.
And that started the journey. It started the journey to Wiz Resilience platform where people can actually go and get an immersive, deep connection with themselves and all the different elements of their life and reconnect to who they are and who they were meant to be, because we live such disconnected lives. we
Right.
don't we don't see and understand what's going on in the various parts of our lives and how interconnected, and the meaning that we need to draw from that. And that's what this platform does. When I work with clients, I see the transformation because they go through this immersive. This is more than a workshop. You don't get that in a workshop. You just speak to everybody in the room. Whereas when you
Yeah.
go with the platform and you go in to look at, you're now doing your spiritual wellness assessment, and you're going and you're looking at, okay, your self-esteem, your values, your your deep core values, your beliefs. What do I believe in? My purpose, my vision, integrity, trust. And you really start to get deeper into those elements of your life and ask, what does that mean to me? And who am I in those areas? And how am I
Yeah.
living in integrity with my values? And it's a whole different conversation with yourself. And clients are telling me, oh, I've never thought about myself being so interconnected and all these elements being important before.
Before we dive in, take a moment to explore the Capitol Health shop at capitalhealth.com. Inside, you'll find a range of offerings designed to support your everyday life, including oils for your body support, customized exercise and nutrition plans, and gift cards to share that support for others. You'll also find Capitol Health apparel created to reflect the mindset and energy we talk about on this show. From pieces like Big Stronger Than Your Excuses or Run Like Your Kids Are Looking For You, each item is designed to bring a little intention and personality into your day. You can explore it all at capitalhealth.com. Achieve your ideal health where health meets alignment. It really puts in perspective on like what does well-being really look like when we're under pressure, right?
Oh,
Because it's like 1 minute, a lot of people think I'm not a stressed person, but then they're facing a lot of ailment issues, right? So who's to say that the ailment issues aren't actually the body processing the
oh
inflammation
yes.
and the
Oh,
stress
absolutely.
response? And a lot of people
Absolutely.
don't connect the dots on that. They'll
They do
kind of,
not.
yeah, they'll get into a state of victimization
Mhm.
and, oh, this is just what I'm going. Why do I have to deal with this? Da 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 da. And it's like, no, sweetheart, there's clearly a disconnection between like, okay, here you're doing, you're thinking so much, but like you haven't even connected your heart center or your energy center or your support system into anything. Like it's just like you've just been on overdrive with
Mhm.
your mind and your
Absolutely.
doing. And then
So
there's not that balance.
100%. Yes, and I had to live through that because after we came from the hospital, I spent 4 days in the hospital, cost us over 40,000 US dollars.
Of course it
And
did.
thank God for insurance.
Yeah.
And we left the hospital, and my girlfriend lived very close to the hospital. It was just like a 10 minutes drive. Went to the left the hospital, went back to my girlfriend's, thought we would just stay there like a couple of days. I got the most severe sciatic attack.
Hmm.
I had such pain, like my body went through such a grief and loss and separation because I was planning on being at the funeral. I was planning on saying my goodbye.
It's
Then
all
I
root
had this
chakra.
exactly. Then I had this invasive procedure, right? I had to go under for them to do all of that. Then and then to come back and realize I'm not going to actually get to see him and have that closure and say goodbye.
Right.
Body just went into this wailing of
Purge.
pain. Oh,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was terrible. It
Well,
was
one of the things I always am pointing out to people is that even when we're going through certain milestones in our life, because this is a milestone, right? Like this
Mhm,
is a huge milestone, even though it's the purge, it's the grief,
mhm,
it's the everything. But what I really find fascinating is it's like when you look back and you think about like what are some of the most defining moments that I've experienced in my life, and when you actually take time to look at not just what you were going through at that time, but think about the ailment issues that you experience. Like if
mhm,
someone twisted an ankle, or if they had some kind of injury or fall, or if they ended
mhm,
up having an accident and they have to rehabilitate from that accident,
mhm,
but what areas of was needing to be healed on their body. You literally just went through this massive grief to where you didn't have the opportunity to say goodbye not only to him on the physical level, but also nor did you have it with the family at the funeral, etc. So it wasn't like you weren't surrounded. So it makes a ton of sense that you go through sciatica, which everything that's across that back, like the back of the hip, everything down is all root chakra. That has to do with your
mhm,
grounding. It has to do with your support center, like through family dynamics. It has
mhm,
everything to do with all of it. Like
mhm,
you always say that basically you always pay attention to like left side is emotional, right side is physical. It's
mhm.
like we always end up having our ailment issues, like internal emotions, everything. It plays out on our body. But to be
Yeah.
able to take introspective, to look back and say, you know what, actually let me pinpoint that these are the injuries that I've had and this is where they were.
Mhm,
And then tie it to your experiences, because it really
mhm.
does provide a lot of insight
Oh,
into
absolutely.
what's going on with you, and also the
Mhm.
lesson to which you're being set up to learn.
Mm-hmm. Just huge, huge, huge. And I remember we got a massage therapist in. My aunt came down because she wasn't living too far away from my girlfriends. They came down. I went back. The pain was it. My body was just in such deep, painful mourning. And but all that, you look back and you say, what an amazing universe that we live in, because everything happens for a reason. Nothing is
Yeah.
lost, right?
Right.
And people ask me, your work is so profound and it's so transformational. And I'm like, this pain was part of the birthing of my work to the next
Right.
level, to
Right.
to be able to build with resilience platform, to give so many more people access that I could never do one-on-one what the platform can do in a million years, right? Giving people
Right.
access. So everything happens for a reason, and we have to realize that we're part of the planet, we're part of the healing, we're part of the growth, we're part of the universe, and our bodies, our minds, our spirit is all intertwined, and everything does result in something beautiful at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it really shows how, the grief and loss of your brother really provoked your new pathways of what was next.
Hmm.
And it's like, and it's that it's a blessing that um it's a blessing that your brother had such a profound impact on your life, to the point, like, not, it's my heart goes out to you, because a loss is always brutal, like
Hmm.
always brutal. But at the same time, it's also that, like, sweet bliss of his impact created something greater, right? Like his life notion, his existence created life change for others, and could
Yes.
save other people's lives just with self-awareness. And
Oh.
you having to go through that experience, it's amazing how we ourselves have to end up going through things,
Mhm.
um to really get to that next level, so that the
Mhm.
work comes through more clearly. And so it's like, I've noticed in times when I've had delays on my
Mhm.
app coming out, or I've had delays of the community. Like, I thought the community was going to be out a year
Mhm.
before it actually got, a year and a half before it actually got released and exposed. But it was
Mhm.
like, because of there was delay. It wasn't delay that it wasn't supposed to be. It had to do with, like, perfect grace and perfect timing, because it was actually like I had to go through several shifts within my own energetic and emotional planes, so that I could get to a whole nother vision of
Absolutely.
what's next. And then it massively changed my work, to the point where it was like, oh, here's, like, here's all these different tiers to which
Mhm.
we can go into expanding ourselves, and people can kind of pick which level they're at, or what they're needing
Mhm.
at that time. But at the same time, they can also go through it. But it's like, it's constant creation, constant
Oh, absolutely.
work, insane. um yeah, absolutely that's absolutely crazy. Like, I mean, it sucks, but it's beautiful at the same
It is,
time.
and it's the circle of life, right? It's the
Yeah.
circle of life. I think sometimes we walk around and we forget how powerful it is, but it's a
Hmm.
very powerful circle. With death comes life and rebirth and regeneration and all of that. And while you're going through the process, it's painful and you have no language for it. But once you've gone through it and you can look back and see how you've been led and guided into deeper growth and awareness, and to now be a conduit for
Right.
others growth and transformation, there's nothing more beautiful. Mhm.
Well, I think it's interesting, because you've said to me, before, is like that we are designed to be resilient and grow through our challenges, and this is a really great example on how we go about doing so. How do you take care of yourself now? Because over the years, my self-care practices have shifted and changed, and had to, because certain one either I've noticed significantly around that 2018, 2019 time period, that self-care practices actually used to be fine for me. Like, once every couple weeks to a month. And then I had to start bringing them in hard every day. Like they had to have them 5 to 7 times a week. But then they played out in different ways. So like you listed, like you got massages, you did these things. It's like, okay, I have those scheduled in my thing on a longer, calendar, but it's like, I will have to do something different, like even journaling with intention or having, one of my favorite things to do right now, honestly, is even after I wake up, just lying in bed, just listening to the silence in the house, like just for 5 to 10 minutes as I transition and kind of just feel into what the day's going to take me. But it's like finding different ways or, even taking a salt shower just because I need to like clear off and realign my chakras. Like what are some of your go-tos?
Actually, one of the things I did for myself just after then was I bought a sauna. So I went and got myself.
Nice.
Yeah, I got a sauna. I brought in and have in my house, so I can go in whenever I want to.
That's great. That's a good present.
Yeah, I got the infrared sauna. That was one thing, so that I can make it more. I can be more purposeful with my cleansing and sometimes just the relaxation. I did some other shifting around my devotion. And one of the things that I do in the morning is I send out a devotion and prayer because we're Christian, we're Seventh-day Adventist Christians. I send out a devotion and prayer. We keep a full 24-hour Sabbath. And every morning I wake up, I send out a full devotion. Then it has 3 or 4 reflective questions and then a prayer to keep you aligned. And this thing has gone to hundreds of women. It was so funny. I have a group at my church, a church group that we started, and I would drop it in there. And then the women were so much so that other people were sending me the same thing. I had to say, well, I'm the one who sent it, so you need to take me off your list. And it's going all across. And then my girlfriend in Antigua also sends me one. So sometimes I look at hers, I'll take a piece of it. I was like, oh, this is really good. It blessed me. So I'll take a piece of hers. I'll add the reflective questions and the prayer and send it. And so so I do that and the people will see me at church or see me on the streets like this is like my husband reads them. So I send them to my kids and he reads them in the family and he's like, oh, these are so good, And so for me, my goal is always to be a conduit. If I can do something that makes other people's lives better. So I send those out every day. That's part of my devotion. If you don't see me send them out, something is wrong. And I stopped sending them once. And then my daughter said to me, Mom, how come you don't see those little devotions in the Fam Jam group anymore? I was like, nobody reads them. I was like, well, I read them. Maybe not every day, but you need to keep sending them. So that was it. I was like, as long as I have breath, they will be in there. All right.
Yeah, it's even better because it's like right when you think your kids stop listening to you, it's like, no, actually they were following the whole time. You just didn't get feedback.
Right?
You're like, yes, what mom for the win. Let's do this.
I know. And a lot of the moms are telling me they're sending them to their kids and they're getting feedback. I was like, let's take it on. Because what a thing to know your child is praying. Like, hello. Right. Is there any bigger gift in the world?
And the other thing that I really like about it is because it's like it's putting the caretaking in place to keep you connected to soul and to purpose, right? Yes. So it's like, it's like you always hear about like the the church offenders that only go to the holiday services, or they only pray when they're in trouble, like that type of thing. And it's like, no, actually, like, it's about having that connection, and whether that's through journaling, reflection, if it's happening between prayer, if it's just even opening yourself up to saying, okay, please open me up to receive the messaging you're trying to teach me right now. Right. Like every time I go into, like I'm more of an eclectic believer of everything because I have so many people of different worlds of religion, but I always say a prayer every single time I walk into session with someone where I'm just like, okay, open me up to whatever messaging and let me be whatever it is that I need to be for this individual in this session. And so I do that it's almost like a religious thing that I do for everyone, because, and then I can feel myself shift. Like my energetic body actually goes to the side, which actually on camera is the wrong side. I go over to my left side technically. And what ends up happening is, like, I could feel my energetic self over here, but then my body is just becoming a portal. Like it's literally just becoming the vessel that needs to be to hear energy, hear messaging, like be able to be what I need to be for that individual in session. And so but it's a really nice, it gives really good, like clear introspective, but at the same time, afterwards, I have to like realign myself, be like, okay, wait, I need my body back. Let's get back into grounding formation so that I can do that. But I love that just even the small, tiny things that we do that we find interesting. And then when we share it, like, why are we not sharing more of this with each other? Right?
I
like,
think that's a good question, Abby. I think sometimes we are scared of judgment. And we don't know, we're worried about what people may think. And I mean, the older I get, I couldn't care less. But I think that's genuinely a handicap for a lot of people. One of the things I do, I garden. I decided I want to garden the kind of gardening that I will be able to garden when I'm 90. So I got big boxes built that I can sit on. It's like garden boxes. And I can sit on them, and they have all the dirt, and I garden. And
that's great.
And I share my garden. That there is such so life-giving in gardening.
Yeah. And you're sharing it's setting the parameters of sharing, of inviting community and connection. Like, I mean, I think part of the resiliency, or part of the growth in this, is really getting to the fact of, like, and I think you're very much right that we do get to a place of where we wonder what the other person's going to think when we share something like this. But the fact is that usually when we open our mouths and share our story, it makes an impact. When we share, life source, like, okay, you're gardening, and then you're sharing your cabbage, or sharing your herbs or whatever with other people, it uplifts them. So it's like,
absolutely.
we need to acknowledge that we get more uplift and more connectivity when we share, and that the judgment is more of that paranoid ego trying to convince us not to.
It's true. Because even just the picture of the garden, like last year, I planted butternut squash. I got 12 huge butternut squash on my little garden. It was unbelievable.
On your first try? That's impressive.
First time I planted butternut. And it's unbelievable. So my friend, one of my friends and mentor, I will send her a picture of my garden, and she's like, I don't know what's going on over at your house. It seems like winter doesn't come by you. What's wrong? Why is there winter doesn't come at your garden? Everybody else is just trying to get their dirt going, and you already have crops.
It's almost like the rain cloud only went over your garden in your head, like you had a bubble over it.
It's energy though, because the garden is right outside my bedroom window. So every time I look out, I'm like, okay, sunshine, just go right there, get this box ready, because I'm coming. And so by the time my plan is always that by the end of May, I will be eating lettuce from my garden. So my goal is, I garden with a purpose. My goal is between May and September, when I harvest, October, September, everything I eat is from my garden.
Yeah.
All my vegetables, all my lettuce. And people keep saying, how do you get so much from 2 little boxes? I'm like, that's because I have a cluster garden. So some people, they plant a tomato over here, and then they plant another one over there. I was like, no. Everything needs to go together and get along and create energy.
No, well, when you put tomatoes next to basil, the 2 plants actually help them grow better. Like, so your tomato, and then even like it's I always intricately plant onions in the corner beds. So
Mhm.
like we have a raised bed and then we have a tier of herbs. But what I do is I always plant the onions in the corners so that
Yep.
it deflects pests and animals from coming in because the
I'm
onions
coming.
help deter. So
Yes.
but then it's like everything can be utilized. It's like if you're not a gardener right now and but you've always kind of wanted to, it's almost like the produce to which you're purchasing at the grocery store, save the seeds, dry
Yeah.
them, like put them on a paper towel, dry
Yes.
them out,
Put
let
them
them
in the
dry out, and then
sun.
you
Dry
use,
them.
yes,
Yes.
and then you all you have to do is just plant them, like
Plant
soak
them.
them for 12 hours and then put them in the ground, and then you can start growing. But
It
like
is
I
so
even use my eggshells. So when we use our, I take the eggshells and I actually grind them up, and they actually are another natural deterrent for pests and
fantastic.
things that
Yeah.
you don't want in your yard. Because in Texas we have some interesting types of bugs and
Okay.
species of those
Yeah.
bugs, and so we have to make sure, like, that we take care of our cabbages and things of that
Mhm.
nature, because
Oh,
you
oh,
never know
it's
what's going to
important
happen.
because you plant those things because you want to eat them, not because
Yeah,
you want bats, butterflies, and bees and stuff to come and eat them. You want them for yourself. And so, one of the things that I really love is, so I started teaching people like the cluster garden. Like
yeah,
you can plant actually, they vie for the sunlight. So everything just, because everything is trying to get the sunlight. So everything just grows way up there. And so I have corn, I have cabbage, I have tomatoes, I have, what do I not have? I plant every year, I plant something different. I plant
that's awesome.
cantaloupe one year. I got cantaloupe in my garden.
That's awesome.
I plant, oh yeah, I plant everything. So every year I plant something different, and I knew that I didn't plant the year before, besides my herbs and my regular
Mhm.
stuff. But it is so exciting, and it is, I take such joy in it, and I take videos of the garden, I post on social media,
That's
and
awesome.
people are telling me, oh, it's just life-giving to see. And I share with my friends, this is what I'm doing. And when I'm harvesting, I say, come over, come and pick a squash, come and pick
Yeah,
a zucchini, come and pick. And for those who don't have garden, it is so thrilling to come
yeah,
and do that, right? Come
it's
and get
so
some
fun,
spinach. It is,
so fun.
it is, because we're meant to be in networks of relationships. And that's one of the things I teach in, and that we do with resilience, is teaching people that we are supposed to be networks of relationships, and
Mhm.
how we get along in those networks of relationships has a huge impact on our health and our longevity. So whether
Amazing.
you're at work and you're mad with your boss and you don't get along, or your coworkers, that will have a negative impact on your health and well-being. That could be
Right.
the cause of the headache you're having, and the stress you're feeling, and the back pain. So look at where you're how you're doing, how well you're doing in these 9 dimensions of your lives, and look at your number and decide where you want to be and make those changes, because only you can make those changes in your life.
Fabulous. I mean, like, and I love the fact that one of your natural go-tos is grounding yourself, because playing in dirt
Oh yes.
brings you back to balance, brings you back to a state of yourself. And it's the fresh
Mhm.
air, it's the livelihood. But it does, once you slow yourself down, like once you get yourself grounded, you can have a clearer perspective, so you can look at those 9 modalities and
Yes.
actually create and see it with clarity and
Yes.
vision, instead of
You do.
like rushing through it in the waves of emotion. Now,
Mhm.
how does the audience get a hold of you? Where can we find you, and your 9 modalities, if people wanted to reach out and stalk you?
Absolutely. Go ahead and reach out and stalk me all the way you want. If you connect with me at joyceodidison.com or interpersonalwellness.com, we've been providing services for organizations for 28 years. As you said earlier, I'm a conflict analyst, also a master certified coach and resilience specialist. So I work with troubled employees, a lot of troubled people, and a lot of people who are struggling. They want to be a high performing professional, but they don't know how. And
Yeah.
we use these 9 dimensions to help them to start structuring their lives so they can become a high professional who doesn't burn out. Well, one that burns out, because we
So
learned
true.
that you can be high professional and still burn out, and understanding what's burning out, because burnout is so high now and people don't know when they're burning out. They don't know how they're doing in these 9 areas of their lives. So yes, if someone goes to interpersonalwellness.com and shoot me a message, and I'm on all the social media platforms. I'm on
Fantastic.
LinkedIn, I'm on all, I'm even on TikTok.
Thank you. That's awesome. So what is a message that you would like to message to live by, or last messaging of your wicked awesome genius that you'd like to share?
Remember that we are interconnected. Every part of our life is interconnected, and we're interconnected with others. I started doing this work because, and get deeper into this work, because I saw how when we have conflict and it disconnects us to each other, it does affect our health and well-being, and we need to come back. And I know there's a lot of conflict happening in our world, and we're seeing a lot of violence, and we're seeing a lot of ugly things on the news and social
Just
media
utter
right now.
chaos. Yeah.
Yes, there's a lot of chaos
A
happening.
lot of noise.
Yes, we have to remember that it starts with us. We can do a difference. We can make a difference. We can do something different. Get connected with yourself. Get connected with who you are. It makes it easier for you to connect with others, for you to have better relationships. Because if we're not, we're going to destroy this world
Yeah.
before
Agreed.
it's time.
Good. Well, thank you so much for joining us to the Capital Life today, Joyce. It was a pleasure having you.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, Amy, for having me.
Thanks for joining me today on the Capital Life, where we talk about all the things that life brings. Join me next Saturday as we do another deep dive in another episode of Keeping It Real with Real People. And remember to take care of yourself, because you're somebody's everything. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on YouTube and Facebook at Capital Health. That's KAPITOL Health. Please share with your friends and family. The Capital Life is available on all podcasting platforms except Pandora. Our goal at the Capital Life is to provide a safe place to get information when it comes to your health and wellness, especially when dealing with all of life's phases. Remember to take care of yourself, because you're somebody's everything.